Okay, so last night I chopped up all the veggies. Got a bunch of veggie scraps, which I put in here with a bunch of water. I don't know how much. I just barely covered the veggie scraps. And like 2 bay leaves and some seasonings like onion powder, garlic powder, maybe some thyme. And so now I've got some sort of a veggie broth, which I'm going to use with these beans that I soaked. So I'm going to cook these all up in the broth and then probably scoop out about half of this and do half as a soup. The other half I'll add some additional things to and make it more of a thicker chili thing. At least that's the plan. So we'll see. I made the pasta salad last night. Did not make what I was going to have for breakfast this morning. But that's okay. I don't eat breakfast that often. So it worked out. There we go. That is lunch. I actually ate some right out of the container and then decided I should put it in a bowl plate thing and eat it for real. It is dinner time tonight. Let's talk about my food situation here. I think we can see it. Made some rice. I made a half a cup of dry rice, but I didn't put the whole thing in here. It just seemed like a little more than I wanted. And this is kind of our chili type dinner. We've got enough for 1 or 2 more nights of this, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see if I want seconds tonight or not. I still have not made the corn muffins. I am gonna do that tonight. So I will have that when I have chili the next night and for breakfast. And I also have some of this same base that I used for this chili, but there's more broth with it. So and it doesn't have the chili seasoning, so more of like a bean and veggie soup. It also doesn't have the peppers that I sauteed and put in here. So a little different, but we have that, and cornbread would be great with that as well. So yeah. It is dinner time. It is a little late. I laid down for just a second and it got real late. I'm pretty notorious for that. So we put some of our soup over some rice and then let it heat a little too long, so it boiled off a lot of the soupiness. So it's more of a stew. That's fine. Got my piece of cornbread. Not my favorite cornbread, but it'll do. And yeah, we're just gonna eat a little bit and probably read a little bit and then go back to bed. We gotta get up early because we have to walk. We have to walk in the morning, and then somebody is going for his physical exam tomorrow. So we have an early drop off at the vet. So we'll go to bed early tonight. All right, we'll see you maybe tomorrow. All right. It is dinner time again. We've got our, I don't know, it's like the chili over some rice. So that'll be good. I was really just doing mostly dinners, but today I don't have pasta salad made or left. I did make some cornbread. We're gonna see if the tweak in the recipe makes it better. This is the last of like the chili that I made with some rice, and the cornbread got a little stuck in the pan, so there's crumbs of it. It's all good. It's all going to the same place. So we might do pasta for dinner since we did not have pasta for lunch. It is dinner time. It is Saturday. Got a lot of things done. I know that it is probably super noisy, like I'm in a wind tunnel, because I am. I have our evaporative cooler going, and it's just loud. So what did we do for dinner tonight? We have pasta. So we used one of the cans of tomatoes, and earlier today we actually roasted 2 red bell peppers, and then I took the skins off after they roasted, and then I put them in the blender. Then I added some of that, like I pulsed it, and I added some of that to the can of tomatoes, put all that in the blender to come up with this sauce, and then I cut up and sauteed some peppers with a little bit of the onion that I still have. Would have rather it not been, well, I would have rather had like a white or a yellow onion, but we use what we have. It's not the first time I've had red onion in there, kind of sauteed, probably not the last. Also, I added some garlic powder to it, just a little bit, and and I did chop in some green onions that I had in my garden that I needed to use up. So we use those, and then a couple leaves of basil from my basil plant, because I got to keep trimming that so that it doesn't flower. So we did use a few items from the home garden, but that's it. Should be yummy. Yay. And it's like a cup of pasta, and I probably use like half the sauce. So I'll probably have this same deal for dinner tomorrow night. It is well past lunchtime, but I eat when I'm hungry. I had a late bagel with my dad for like brunch, but now I'm hungry, so I'm having a huge bowl of pasta for like late lunch, super early dinner, and then that way for like later dinner, I'll have a soup, which will be, in theory, a little lighter. So, yeah. All right, it is dinner time. It is a super late dinner, but I ate a late lunch. So what are we having? We're having the soup over rice. Yeah, soup over rice, and then some cornbread. So you may have guessed there's a lot of redundant meals when you're doing some budget meals. I eat a lot of the same things over because they're easy. I don't have to think about the recipes. I typically have the ingredients on hand, or I've had to buy so much of a certain ingredient that I want to use it up. So this is kind of normal-ish. All right, I'm gonna eat. So the big question is, what do I have left at the end of the week? Well, tomorrow's the end of the week, so. But I do my meal prep on Sunday. Monday's the end of 7 days. It is what it is. So let's talk about it. All right, so the first thing, I made more pasta salad. I had enough carrots and celery for sure to do like 1 serving, to do it the way I'd like to do it, in the ratios I like. This also has the artichoke hearts. It also has the onion in it, and the pasta. So that is tomorrow's lunch. I actually haven't had dinner yet. So 1 serving of soup is tonight's dinner. And then tomorrow night for dinner, I will have probably more soup. Although I do have some other choices. I could do some sort of, I've got a little bit of hummus left, so I could do like a hummus pasta sauce with the pasta that I have left, and I have a pepper left that I could cut up in that, and I have some onion that I could put in there. I could also make a regular sauce out of tomatoes, so I could do that. I have a little bit of my roasted red pepper add-in, so I could add that to the sauce. I could add that to the hummus and make it more roasted red pepper hummus instead of classic hummus. I still have milk left. I actually did not open this milk. I had some open milk in the fridge, and I didn't want to waste 2 open containers. I just don't use milk that often. But I used 2 cups of milk so far, and this has 4 cups in it, so I would have half of this left. And I got about that much left of the corn muffin or cornmeal mix. So I've got that. I have still a ton of rice that I could put the soups over, and I actually have some cooked rice in here, actually enough probably for today and tomorrow. So let's pretend that's getting eaten. This is actually more pasta. It's the rest of the artichoke hearts and it's some of the onion. And if I don't use the carrots and celery in here as a snack tomorrow, then I will cut them up and put them in this pasta salad. Otherwise, I will go buy carrots and celery because I have them at the house most of the time. So, could go either way with that. Still have 2 servings of the soup. I still have some green diced chilies. I've got some corn. Those might get mixed into like the soup stew situation. And then I have a whole bunch of cornbread still. That's just, I'm recycling that plastic because I don't have any plastic wrap to put over this. So we're using that. Confession, I was gonna have some of that for breakfast today, but my dad texted me and said, hey, I'm coming over with bagels. So I ate the bagel, which is pretty on brand for me. So that is what I have left from my just over $20. I did add green peppers from my garden, or not green peppers, green onion, because it was gonna go bad and it was falling over. Added a little bit of basil from my garden, added seasonings from the house, oil, some general seasonings that I always have on hand, salt, pepper, some garlic powder, onion powder. I think those were the main ones. Did add bay leaf to the broth that I made. And truth be told, this is not my favorite mix. I've tried it a couple two different ways, making it the other directions, which are like I had corn and green chilies in it. Didn't like that. So then I tried to follow these a little more exactly. Still didn't like it. Now, of course, I didn't substitute anything for the egg because in all my other recipes it's fine. In this one, not great. So what I have found makes this delicious is to dive into one of 2 items in my pantry, and it makes it fine. Sometimes I'll like dunk it in the soup, but sometimes it's more of a stew and it doesn't soak up the broth. So, and like for breakfast, toast it, put a little maple syrup or honey on it, and then I'm good to go. So did have to incorporate some things from kind of outside the shopping trip, but I have so much left over that I can use going into next week that, you know, if I had to keep a low budget for next week, I would have to buy less things, and maybe there'd be room in the budget to build out my spices even more or whatever. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope this gave you ideas. I'm not recommending you eat this way. It's just to spark some creativity for you in case you are in a situation where you do need to go budget in your food budget, if you need to be on a really strict budget. Of course, if you are having a problem securing the food that you need for yourself or your family, I encourage you to reach out to the resources in your community. There are many resources in many communities. There's things from like food banks. I know a lot of churches have opportunities, synagogues, religious groups, the county, the community services, but also your Buy Nothing groups on Facebook, your neighbors potentially. So definitely seek the help that you need. Use this as a resource, of course, to meet your goals, financial, to stay within your budget, and still eat pretty darn good. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye. It is the last dinner. We have the soup over the rice. I ate the cornbread while I was heating the soup up. That's just how it goes. So, yeah. Experiment complete.